When he returns, he's going to join the Hart Foundation along with Brett, Owen, Davey, and Jim Neidhart. So listen, the Pillman angle with Goldust is interesting because I guess there was a backstory, real life relationship between them. Well, Brian Pillman's stakes are he loses, he's got to wear a dress for a month, and he does. Eventually, even though he's wearing the dress, and that's fun, I'm sure he's having fun with that. Pillman's going to defeat Goldust in a rematch, and now he's going to get Marlena for 30 days. And that's where we start to see the loose cannon Triple X Files. In this era, you know, the X Files was a big TV show on Fox, but we're going to shoot it with a camcorder in a hotel room, and you can just sort of use the rumor and innuendo there. And you sending a tester to go check him out. That happened in this era during this Goldust Marlena love triangle storyline. And you wrote in your book when he made that call and he was upset with you that he was saying, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not taking any drugs. It's sad, but it's written in the Observer that when you ordered that drug test, that was just 5 weeks before he lost his life. And this is really wreaking havoc, not only on his professional career, but his personal life and his home life. And Melody would even tell Dave that he often wore a shirt that says rehab was for quitters. And eventually, it's in the Observer, Brian requested a release from the WWF, feeling he could go back to WCW and slide into the final slot in the Four Horsemen. His personal situation was rocky for a short period of time, which including him violating a restraining order and Melody filing for a divorce. After a brief separation, he had returned home. He was pulled from the October 3rd house show in Winnipeg and from the Friday night house shows for the next few weeks because of a court-ordered anger management class that he had to take for violating the restraining order. He had to go to these classes for 4 straight Saturday mornings. And he's back on the road after the classes for the matches in St. Paul. And unfortunately, that would be his last match of his career against Goldust.
There was nothing we could do. Look, the company spent thousands of dollars on surgeries for Brian. Thousands. Those are major surgeries. Rebuilding bones, reassembling your ankle, all that stuff. And getting past the fusion. It just was a horrible situation rather to be in.
It's pretty amazing to me that I didn't know at the time, and I don't think it was widely reported at the time, that he had asked for a release. Thinking he could go to WCW and slide in and be one of the Horsemen. Are you the guy he asked for the release? Do you remember that bit?
Yeah. And I think he did. And I wanted to, I kept wanting to make him happy. You know, we had no problem giving him a release because we knew that he was limited on what he could do.
His final televised match aired on October 4th, 1997. It's Shotgun Saturday Night. He would defeat the Patriot by DQ thanks to some interference by Goldust. And of course, as we all know, we found out that he passed away on the Bad Blood pay-per-view. I'll never forget watching In Your House Bad Blood, and it's going to be the debut of Kane, and it's going to be the first ever Hell in a Cell, and just an incredible match with The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. But we started with just the most tragic news of all when we're told that Brian Pillman has passed away. And of course, he was found dead in his hotel room in Bloomington, Minnesota, where he had wrestled the previous night. His last opponent, of course, was Goldust.
Yeah.
Hey, he's gone, and y'all gonna have a good show. That's tough, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, it wasn't the first time we tried to overcome tragedy and death. You know, I don't remember what year it was that Owen Hart fell in Kansas City, 99, I think.
Yeah, 2 years later.
Yeah. So we're dealing with these issues all along. And then you look on the sheet, the folder that has their history in it, and you see all these surgeries.
Right.
Then you find out what these surgeries cost, Conrad. It was in the 6-figure plus range. So it was hard to justify keeping a guy who had had that many surgeries and now wanted to leave. He didn't leave because he couldn't do this or couldn't do that. He wanted to wrestle in the story. And we knew that wasn't possible. So if it come to the eventuality of giving him a release, there'd be no problem.
We should at least mention the night after this pay-per-view, we do a live feed interview with Vince McMahon talking to now Brian's widow, Melanie. And this was heavily criticized, especially with the benefit of hindsight. Meltzer would say, under the emotional state that everyone was under, it would be cruel and heartless to be critical of the segment. And I think in hindsight, if you had it to do over again, maybe we wouldn't have done that.
I mean, to be honest with you, Conrad, when Brian died, I'm sure there are a lot of talents on the roster that looked at this as an opportunity for them to move up. Brian's no longer in the picture. So that's a key role that's open for somebody who's going to step up and take it. That may sound cold, cruel, and callous, but it was it's the way it was. It's just, it was even worse than the territory days.
And despite his image as a wild man, Brian was not using drugs, in my opinion, for recreational purposes. He was taking the medication to help him heal from that awful accident, but it was medication that was still against company policy. I just can't imagine, man. I'm glad you wrote about that in your book.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the talk of make her a heel for Brian. But again, Brian's got to pull it off. And he couldn't. I don't know why we kept booking this stuff. But we know that it doesn't have a happy ending. He can't do it. But out of respect to him and our love of him, we were continuing to try to find ways to utilize his skill set. And we saw as time went on, those opportunities became less and less.